The base of this Halloween-inspired, healthy harvest bowl is purple rice, also known as forbidden rice. It's high in an antioxidant known as anthocyanin. This rice also has a good amount of protein and iron. For this bowl, I used a Koginut squash. I thought it just screamed Halloween. This is a hybrid of a butternut and a kabocha squash. To soften it a bit to make it easier to cut, I microwaved it in the microwave for about 1 minute. The squash is high in vitamins A, C, and K. It's rich in fiber, potassium, and magnesium, and it contains the antioxidant beta-carotene. After cutting it in half, I used a spoon to remove the seeds and that fibrous interior. And then cut the squash into quarters and then into eighths. And then I just removed the exterior skin and then cut the squash into about 1-inch square cubes. I coated the squash with about 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil and about 1 teaspoon of maple syrup and a pinch of salt and then a dusting of Korean chili flakes. I then mixed the squash to make sure everything was coated with all of the ingredients. And then placed the squash on a parchment-lined baking tray. I baked these in a 375-degree oven for about 40 minutes until they were fork tender. For this recipe, I used a block of tempeh, which I had on hand. I really wanted to use the pumpkin seed tofu by Palm Fu, but I just didn't have it. But I think that would be a nice Halloween addition. Anyway, I cut up the tempeh into cubes, and I placed them in the same bowl that I used to marinate the squash. I then added about a tablespoon of gluten-free soy sauce and maybe about a teaspoon's worth of the Korean chili flakes, and then stirred everything together to coat all of the tempeh. I then put the tempeh on a separate parchment-lined baking tray. To make a fun, spooky addition to the bowl, I used purple carrots. These are high in anthocyanins as well. I started by cutting off the ends of the carrots. As you see the interior, it's almost like a fluorescent yellow, where the exterior is a dark purple. I then peeled these. I cut off the tops at an angle to create like a, I don't know, the head of a ghoul. I then used a small paring knife to carve out eyes and an open wide mouth on both of the carrots. I had some of that marinade left over from the tempeh, so I just rubbed the carrots in that. And then placed them on the tray with the tempeh. I then placed these in the oven. It was at 375 degrees, and I also baked them for about 45 minutes. For the greens in this bowl, I used purple kale to go with the purple Halloween theme. This is a nutrient-rich kale. It has vitamins A, C, and K, as well as calcium, magnesium, and iron. It also has the antioxidants lutein and zeaxanthin. After washing and chopping the kale, I just simply put it in the remaining marinade that was in the bowl, and I massaged that throughout the kale. To make things easy, I just microwaved it in this bowl. You certainly can steam it or saute it. So next I'll show you how to make the sweet and savory gochujang sauce for this bowl. I started by placing 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame seed oil into a saucepan. I diced approximately 3 cloves of garlic. I added that to the sesame oil in the pan. Then grated about 1 teaspoon's worth of fresh ginger into the pan with the garlic and the sesame oil. I then turned this on medium-high heat, and when it started to sizzle, I allowed the garlic and the ginger to cook for about 30 seconds. I then added 3 tablespoons of Korean chili paste known as Gochujang, about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. This is gluten-free soy sauce. About 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. About 1/4 cup of water. And about 1 teaspoon of Korean chili flakes. This adds, yes, additional heat, but it adds a beautiful bright red color. I turned up the heat and stirred everything together. I simmered this all for about 20 minutes on medium heat until it became thick and somewhat glossy. I plated everything on a bed of the purple rice, and I stuck in my 2 ghouls in the back inside the kale. And then I added some kimchi in the back and some toasted pumpkin seeds, as well as the tempeh and the squash. Then I drizzled some of that delicious, sweet, savory, and slightly spicy Gochujang sesame sauce over the tempeh and the squash. And I have to say, I added a little extra to some of the kale as well. If you want another idea for a Halloween-themed vegan and gluten-free meal, check out this next video.